The call came in on a quiet Sunday morning. A noise complaint from the lake, supposedly about me. Within minutes, 2 HOA board members and a police cruiser were idling at my property line, staring at the no trespassing sign I'd installed the week before. What they didn't realize was that the 911 call they made went straight through my own office. I could hear every word they said, every lie, every petty accusation. That was the moment I knew this wasn't just a dispute. It was a setup. But they had no idea who they were dealing with. My name's David Warren. I'm a 42-year-old land management officer and environmental consultant. A few years back, I bought a quiet ranch-style property that bordered a man-made lake, the same lake that half the neighborhood's homes were built around. The previous owner sold me the land with full rights to the shoreline section, meaning I could fish, park my boat, and enjoy my corner of the water anytime I wanted. The place was supposed to be my peace, a retreat after years of long hours and city stress. The gated community around it was run by the Willow Creek HOA, small, tight-knit, and, as I'd later find out, obsessed with control. At first, they were friendly enough. I got welcome cookies, a packet of rules, and polite smiles from the board members who lived down the road. For months, life was calm. I'd work from home, take the kayak out in the evenings, and wave to the neighbors who passed by. My dog, Scout, loved it too. She'd run along the shore chasing ducks or lie by the dock while I read. Everything felt right. But peace in HOA country is always temporary. Started small. An email reminding me that my fence color didn't match the community palette. A note left on my truck windshield about overnight parking violations. Then came the first real confrontation, a board member named Linda Pierce. She was in her late 50s, always dressed sharp, clipboard in hand, and had the type of smile that never reached her eyes. She stopped by one afternoon while I was cleaning the dock. "Mr. Warren," she said, "you're technically not allowed to place private signs by the lake. The HOA maintains visual consistency around the shoreline." I looked up from my work, wiping my hands. "The sign's on my property line, ma'am." I checked the plat map twice. She gave me that slow, rehearsed grin. "We'll have to verify that." That was the start of it. Within weeks, I got letters about unauthorized lake activity, unaesthetic equipment, and noise during restricted hours. My equipment, by the way, was a small boat motor. And the noise? Probably Scout barking at ducks. Then the fines started. $25 here, $50 there, all adding up for things that weren't violations. I appealed the first one. It got lost. Peeled again, no reply. Then I noticed something strange. The board members would meet right outside my gate in the evenings, pointing toward my property, jotting things down. I decided to play nice at first. I showed up at the next HOA meeting, brought copies of the property deed, photos, timestamp logs. When I tried to explain, they cut me off. Linda smirked and said, "We appreciate your enthusiasm, Mr. Warren, but we'll handle this through proper channels." Proper channels meant escalation. I started getting anonymous complaints, all traced back to concerned residents. Trash cans left visible, grass 2 inches over regulation, improper dock lighting. It became clear that this wasn't about rules anymore. It was personal. Then came the breaking point, the 911 call. That morning, I'd been working in my home office. The HOA claimed I was illegally operating a motorized vehicle on common property. They called the police, reporting a disturbance at the lake. But the call center? That was my office. I was the environmental consultant who handled local lake patrol coordination for the county. When the dispatcher flagged the call, it came across my desk. I listened as Linda's voice came through, dripping with fake concern. "Yes, officers, he's out there again. He's violating lake policy. He's disturbing the neighborhood." She even gave my name, address, and plate number like she was reading off a report. I didn't move. I just sat there, headset on, listening. The irony wasn't lost on me. They'd tried to weaponize the system I helped run. When the police arrived, I walked outside calmly, badge in hand. "Morning, officers," I said, showing my ID. "I believe you're responding to a complaint about me." The look on their faces said it all. Within minutes, They realized the HOA's claim was baseless. They left without incident, but not before giving Linda a polite warning about false reporting. That should have been the end of it, but it only made them more determined. Over the next month, I got hit with back-to-back violations, each one more absurd than the last. Unauthorized use of lakefront property. Failure to comply with HOA cooperation. They even claimed my dock extended beyond the permitted limit, except I had survey data proving otherwise. I stopped reacting emotionally. Instead, I gathered evidence, every letter, every time-stamped visit, every recording. When they tried to fine me for refusal to remove signage, I sent a formal notice citing property rights, county law, and HOA overreach. When that didn't work, I filed a complaint with the County Housing Authority and copied the HOA board on every email. The real twist came when the Housing Authority asked for the HOA's own records. Turns out, they'd been approving their own fines without legal backing and collecting them into an administrative fund. It was technically embezzlement. Once the audit began, everything started to crumble. Board members resigned quietly. Others tried to distance themselves from Linda. She doubled down, sending threatening letters that bordered on harassment. I didn't respond. I let the process work, and the process worked hard. 2 months later, the HOA's operations were temporarily suspended pending review. The audit found mismanagement, unauthorized enforcement, and misuse of funds. The county froze their ability to issue fines. When I got that official letter, I walked down to the dock, the same one they tried to take from me, and sat there in silence. The lake was calm, the sun reflecting off the water like nothing had happened. But everything had changed. Neighbors started reaching out, quietly at first. A couple apologized. One even admitted they'd been pressured to report me to avoid trouble themselves. I didn't hold grudges. I just told them, "We all know better now." As for Linda, she resigned the following month. The HOA replaced her with a temporary manager from a professional firm. I later found out she'd moved out of the community entirely. Sometimes I still think about how far it all went, how a simple lake, a piece of property, could ignite so much control and resentment. But it also reminded me of something important. The power of standing your ground, quietly and confidently, when you know you're right. So if you're ever dealing with an HOA that forgets where the line is drawn, remember this story. Keep your records, know your rights, and never let someone weaponize the rules against you. Because sometimes, the best revenge isn't shouting back. It's letting the truth speak, loud enough for everyone to hear.